atmosphere at the end. What a winner. And to be honest, I never thought I'd see Artur Masuaku score a winning goal like that.
No, it was a great cross, wasn't it? But like in football, you take everything you get.
We've had a kind of difficult week, I think, and the game midweek, we come away with 3 points where maybe we shouldn't have, and we're making mistakes that we don't normally do, and the same again today.
The schedule is the schedule, and we need to overcome tiredness mentally and physically, because otherwise we have an excuse to do now what in every game, big mistakes. We did not get a gift today from West Ham, and they had also matches in their legs, and they played also Europa League in between.
You've already, without Ogbonna of course, injured, Zuma today and young Ben as well. You can't afford any more of these injuries at the back.
No, we picked up one with Man City with Creswell as well, so we're just beginning to creak. Look, we all love our football and we like to see it, but I think you've got to be careful that we're not taking the players too far.
Far too early, isn't it, to take any massive implication on the Premier League from a game like this, a result like this?
Listen, if we won this game, which was possible, nobody would have given us the title, and if we lose it like today, I don't think that anybody else gets it after this weekend. So it's just another example that you need to stay focused and take care about the details, because in the details we have to improve.
All those days at Hull, you scored against the European champions today.
I know. I think I spoke to one of the coaches before. He said, "You ever scored against Chelsea?" I went, "No." He went, "Right, today we'll change that." And here we are now with a goal and 3 points. So I'm buzzing.
So you should be. We'll come to Jared Bowen shortly, but a great result for West Ham. I mean, behind twice, great spirit, and turned it around.
It was a great game, full of incident. They actually changed formation at the start of the game, but I think it changed their mindset and made them too passive and too defensive. They started with 5 at the back. And Chelsea's good play, of course, pushes you back sometimes, but very unlike West Ham. They were too easy to play against. They were in position, but never really laid a glove on Chelsea early in the game. You can see the amount of time Loftus-Cheek's got here. They're all getting comfortable, gaining confidence, early start. Chelsea looked really good in the opening stages of the game and let West Ham off, really. They got a couple of good chances and didn't get a goal. Excuse me. We see again here, too easy. Too many options, especially when you get to the final third. You can't give someone like Reece James that much time, and Havertz should do better with the header. But what a different second half. Look how high the wing-backs are, Soufal and Masuaku. Players running off the ball, more energy, more tenacity, better quality with the ball as well that got them back in. You know, more bravery to start playing. Look, closer to each other, winning seconds. Not always pretty, not a problem. Get some balls in behind, make them defend, turn them round. Antonio, though, using his strength. And again, men in the box, trying to commit men forward to get back in the game. And they just grew in confidence. The crowd was phenomenal. The atmosphere was brilliant. Declan Rice had another superb game. But again, you see them taking risks. I think this was all as well. I mean, let's not forget they lost Zuma, big blow. Yeah. They had to make substitutions, and he made positive ones as well. Really did. And they kept getting in good areas. I know they got lucky with this one, and Chelsea will feel a little hard done by. But sometimes when you roll the dice and you're more courageous with your play and you have a go at the bigger teams, you do get a bit of luck. But they've got men forward. Look, he's trying to put a cross in. We know that, of course he is. Don't think JP got that right. Thoroughly encouraging performance for West Ham to play with such tenacity and resilience in the second half.
Certainly was. We talked about Jared Bowen, that we'd come to him, and you thought he was outstanding.
I just thought he was a standout performer on the day. I really did. I think he kind of like encapsulated everything that, you know, Danny mentioned in the second half. I thought like he did it throughout the game. I think he was on the front foot. He was the one that was progressive, you know, within the team. This was an example of what was really, I thought, good about him today. That kind of like confidence that he shows. You know, he had the most shots of any player on the pitch today. But, you know, that confidence, you know, to take that shot on, the anticipation here when, you know, you're seeing that the keeper's under a lot of pressure, but, you know, he put the brakes on at the right time and wins the free kick. Wins the penalty. And then these moments where he understands his surroundings, the space around him. Where's this ball going to drop? Where's the second ball? OK, that one don't quite drop to me, but I'm still in space. And then the clinical nature of the strike hits it pure. I think for his third goal of the season, he will want to improve on those numbers, but he definitely has got goals in him. And he was just a constant thorn in Chelsea's side. We're talking about most touches in the opposition box. This is a player who's just developing brilliantly under David Moyes. This is that space I'm talking about again. Where's that ball going to drop? I'm going to be there for it. And then when he develops the play, he's not just kind of going to sit there waiting around, picks his moment, and he's just short of getting that second goal. He was just an all-round top performance.
Does his defending as well, doesn't he?
Just puts in a shift that, it's just difficult to stop.
54 changes Chelsea have made this season. We've seen a little bit of a dip in their form, perhaps in the last couple of weeks. Reason to be concerned or not?
I just think injuries are really costing them. I think that midfield in particular, the loss of Kante and Kovacic in there is a big problem for them. Obviously, you could add to that Tuchel, Lukaku. I'm sure managers will be going, well, what? I've lost players as well. But it is, that key midfield is big for him, and he's missing them.
What a game. What a win for West Ham, Steve.
Yeah, brilliant victory. Funny enough, they probably weren't at the best, were they? The fact that David Moyes said that second half they were much better. But all that matters to the West Ham fans is the result, isn't it? You beat one of your local rivals. You beat one of the team that's sitting at the top of the league. And they've already beaten Liverpool. They've just beaten Chelsea. So it's brilliant times for them all, and rightly so. It was excellent performance in the end.
It was up for grabs right until the last 15 minutes, Owen.
Yeah, I mean, it was really tight at 2-2. And obviously the Masuaku goal, or whether it's an own goal from Loftus-Cheek, I thought it was. But they're such a good side, West Ham. I love watching this team play because every game they compete. Declan Rice and Souček, they're the heart of that team. But Antonio is fabulous. Ben Rama gives them so much. Lanzini chipped in today. Bowen is a super underrated finisher.
Yes, good point.
They have so many good weapons in this side, and they just missed out on Champions League last season. I wonder if they're going to take that step and get in there. That would be an incredible achievement for this group of players to finish top four.
And also take into account they had to overcome a couple of key injuries. Ben Johnson going off. And Kurt Zouma.
Yes, and they look as if they could be out for a while, which is the main problem. Once they start getting into, they're substituting the reserves and utilising the squad, you wonder how far that will take them. But the fact that they are sitting pretty now will enable them to still get results over the next, month or so until they get these people back. So great up to now. They just need to keep on pushing forward because that it's in their grasp. Arsenal's, the Tottenhams, the Manchester United teams that will challenge them for that spot are all inconsistent as well. West Ham have got points on them all. So if they keep the consistency levels and keep winning games, they won't win all of them. No. But if they keep churning away, they've got a really good opportunity to cement themselves in that fourth place.
We heard from Thomas Tuchel there. The disappointment was clearly etched right across his face. He spoke of individual mistakes. And in that way, it was very uncharacteristic of Chelsea today. Yeah,
well, we've seen it of late. They did a bit against United, some poor mistakes, Jorginho in particular, for the Jadon Sancho goal. They're such a well-coached side. Every player knows their job. But at the moment, they're making a few more mistakes than we're accustomed to. In possession, Thiago Silva, he doesn't normally do that. So and the problem is when you make mistakes against teams like West Ham, they'll punish you. They're just too good. The level in the Premier League is too good when you keep making mistakes and putting pressure on yourself. Don't care how good a team you are, even if you're the Champions League winner, you're just inviting pressure on. And these players, Maka, they take advantage.
Yeah, and also on the type of mistakes, because the mistake against Manchester United was awful, wasn't it? And, this was terrible as well. These are just not run-of-the-mill mistakes. These are ones that are going to gift the opposition goals, and that is what you have to cut out. A stray pass here and there you can forgive because you can't play perfectly all the time. Wonderful finish from Bowen. And again, a goal that should be closed down by Rudiger. But the first goal from the goalkeeper today and, the Jorginho mistake and even the half Jorginho mistake with his poor back pass to the goalkeeper, you can't be doing that all the time because there's nothing down for you then.
So why have these mistakes been creeping in? Is it complacency? Is it mental attitude?
I wouldn't have thought it was complacency, would you, Owen?
No, I mean...
The manager wouldn't allow that.
The one thing Sir Alex used to always say before a big game was concentration. That's all it is, just concentration. You're just a lapse of concentration. And I think that's what Thomas Tuchel's been so good, is the fact that he's... the boys are always so switched on. They're so well drilled. Doesn't matter who plays. They barely concede any goals. But those mistakes for top players, that's just concentration.
Yeah, you don't expect Jorginho. You don't, who's had a wonderful last 12 months, or the goalkeeper who's been brilliant. You don't expect them to make those type of mistakes. You know, they were 1-0 up today, you know, in control of the game, and then to allow West Ham back into it just by a lack of concentration by first Jorginho, but principally the goalkeeper not just kicking it into the stands.
Yeah.
And when that happens away from home and suddenly it galvanises the West Ham fans and lifts the game, they're mistakes that just cannot happen. Not if you want to be the very best. Of course, mistakes will happen. But when you are fighting on all cylinders like they are, you know, Manchester United, they got a point in the end. They struggled to a victory midweek and then they've lost today.
Yeah.
You know, big mistakes are key at key times, and they've gone from first, clearly in first, to in third in the space of a week.
But they toiled against Watford in midweek. So could you say that performance like this was almost coming? And if it is, what does Tuchel need to do to, I suppose, nip this in the bud before it becomes anything other than a blip in the road?
Well, I mean, it's been a fairy tale since he's come in.
Yeah.
He's taken that
but that's
team
the thing, he's not had any adverse
none.
results, really.
And look, that's when you really get to know your players and your team, a bit of, adversity. And I think that's fine. I think he'll embrace that. I just think you've cut out the mistakes and they'll be the Chelsea of old. You know, they've, up to this point, they'd almost played a perfect season up to the last 3 games. So I think they'll believe if they cut out mistakes, they'll be back. And their squad is so big.
Yeah, you don't have to panic too. You can see why they've dropped points. It's not as if, there's a worrying trend where they're not playing well. You can see why they dropped points today. A couple of mistakes cost them. The game against Manchester United, big mistake, cost them. So as long as you can cut that out, and the players who committed those errors, you know they're far better than what those errors have shown. So there's not a big issue. They'll win next week or they'll win the week after, and they'll continue to plod along and they'll be fine.
But credit to West Ham and to David Moyes,
who
who matched up with Chelsea with the shape that he went 3-4-3. In fact, he went 2-1 in that final third. Mikel Antonio and Jarrod Bowen together, they were brilliant on the day, weren't they?
Yeah, I mean, they're so good. Mikel Antonio is just... Look, Mac, he's probably one of the hardest guys in the league to play against, isn't he? Because he offers something completely different. Physically, you can't outstrength him. He runs the channel. This is what he's good at.
This is great, yeah.
And when he makes those runs, they find him. And then I don't know why people try and, physically compete with him, because you can't. And then Jarrod Bowen, again, his finishing is just off the charts. They have a good partnership. And if it's Benrahma or it's Fornals or it's Lanzini, Souček, Rice, they've got so many weapons. And I love this. When they get it, their transitions, Mac, are so quick at the moment.
I mean, as you can see, most of this was in the second half, so there was a significant improvement in what they did in the second half. But fair play to them, all credit. They were 2-1 down at half-time. Something's been said at half-time. They've come out with a renewed energy. And, he doesn't do much here, Antonio, but he creates a little bit of space at least.
But he did, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Space. He made a bit of space.
Yeah. And whether that's a mistake by the goalie or whether it's just fortune from Masuaku, you can argue the case, but they finished the game off really well. At times, at 2-2, you thought Chelsea were in the ascendancy. So for West Ham to go and win the game and create chances and still look really good at the end, and the manager not overly pleased with the performance, but it says how far West Ham have progressed.
Let's have a closer look at Arthur Masuaku's first Premier League goal. Was there a deflection here that basically foiled Edouard Mendy in goal?
It has to take a deflection. Has to. That's the only reason the ball goes in. Otherwise, Mendy saves it. Otherwise, it probably ends up in the middle of the box and, West Ham trying to attack it. They said after the game, that's what they try and do. They put the ball in the box and try and attack it.
Yeah.
It comes off Loftus' cheek, and I don't think that's a goalkeeping mistake.
You don't?
No, because he's coming to get the cross initially. It takes a huge deflection. He's in the right spot, but he just gets beat by the deflection. I think it's just ridiculously unlucky and, fortunate for West Ham.
You heard from Loftus-Cheek. I mean, I presume he's the only one who'd be able to say whether it's...
But I forget that. He's gone one further here. He's taken to social media as Arthur Masuaku. There you go. So was it a cross or was it a shot? Hint, I was surprised to see it. He didn't mean...
He doesn't say was it an own goal.
Yeah,
no,
I see what you're saying.
But Manish, the thing is, if you shoot from there, the manager would sub you. Because you shouldn't be shooting from there, because it's a cross. So that basically tells you...
True. It's a very bad cross if that
was
is
an awful cross. But the way the ball moved would suggest that it took a deflection off Loftus-Cheek, didn't it?
Yeah, OK. So it's a terrific result in the end, then, as far as West Ham are concerned. So the big question next, of course, is with Chelsea dropping points,